our strike. We are rock solid. Really nice to see you all. Yeah, so, yeah, good. We've had the socialist choir came down and gave us some songs earlier. That was really good to see them. So thanks again to Socialist Choir for coming down, and great to see students and staff and members here. So yeah, brilliant. We've got 4 speakers today and a couple of messages of solidarity from other branches. So we're going to hear from branch secretary and our negotiating secretary, Ben and Nick, and then we're going to hear from David from the University of Sheffield. They're going to talk about what's happening over the road. We're going to hear from Shaq, so our brilliant students, Students Against the Cuts here at Sheffield Hallam, and then we're going to have a quick couple of messages of support and solidarity from other branches. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to film a little bit of this for part of the campaign, but yeah, brilliant to see you all, and yeah, let's hang in there. It's day 4, but yeah, more to come.
Right, absolutely brilliant to see everyone here. I just want to keep it fairly simple, don't have a lot to say. The main thing is just to thank everyone for the enormous effort of being part of our branch, taking part in the votes, standing strong and standing up to University Executive and the appalling decisions they're making, which is wrecking our university. So, and also, before I move on to specific items, to thank everybody, the choir, our guest speakers, the students. It's amazing how much support we're getting from everybody, so a huge thank you, and to the people who've made donations into our strike fund, so other unions, individuals and other branches. That's fantastic. Thank you to all those people. Right, so the most important thing to say is our overwhelming mandate for strike action and the solidity of the strike action and all your efforts to turn up here are working. It's instructive that we had talks with ACAS last week, and management have already come back with an offer. We'll get to talk about that in detail. It's not a perfect offer. We can talk about that in some detail. But the vital thing is that University Executive have moved their position, and we have something to consider that could help us, and we can vote on tomorrow. There's a few parts to that offer. The first one is most of immediate concern and really bad for people is the threat of compulsory redundancy. We had a big VS scheme, and we know that we've lost over 100 people. University Executive have essentially been able to make all of the savings, or almost all of the savings, that they themselves targeted, and there's actually no good reason why they should go ahead with any further redundancies at all, and we'll be fighting this as hard as we can, really plain and simple. So the next thing to say is that we will be going into a meeting to talk about that this afternoon. The fact that everyone's here showing their support for our action and taking the action and making it difficult for the university will provide us with the leverage that we need in those negotiations to try to push back on those redundancies. We don't want to see a single member of staff lose their job through compulsory redundancy. It's bad enough that we've seen our colleagues go through voluntary severance. I've been talking to individual members from various schools across the university, to students here, students from the University of Sheffield, and the overwhelming picture that we're trying to explain to the University Executive is that every time we lose a member of staff, an experienced and valued member of staff who does research and provides high quality teaching, the end result is that students suffer and they get a lower quality education, and we keep on trying to make this argument. I think it might be getting through to some extent. We need to preserve the quality of what we all do here for ourselves and, even more importantly, for the students. So to move on to the next part, we've got the subsidiary company. It was always a bad scheme. It's essentially, you could call it tax avoidance, I suppose, because it's money that goes into central government. Central government essentially fund almost everything that happens here, apart from international student fees, whether it's teaching, student loans, grants for research, and they lay down the rules on the pension schemes, which are purely intended to give us dignity in retirement. So there's no reason to avoid the pension scheme, whatever the contribution level. Fortunately, there seems to be a whole load of media rumours and stuff coming through potentially from government to reduce the employer contributions, such that at least a university executive will probably have no reason to go through with a subsidiary company. And we're hoping that once we've got sufficient information that can be taken off the books, that proposal gets withdrawn. And so we've got a better position on there, but we still don't know where we're at with that. So to the last point on employment terms and conditions, these have been built up through hard work of lots of people in the union, the members supporting them over many, many decades. These terms and conditions are written into a national contract from 1992. The university is just deciding to shred those terms and conditions just because they want to save some money. The end result will be reducing the quality of the staff that want to work in universities, reducing the amount of time they have to do research and to deliver better quality teaching. So we're going to fight those as hard as possible. The really sad thing is that so many proposals have been laid down and talks were ended so early, we haven't even talked about hardly any of those proposals. So we're hoping we can go back and negotiate those properly and push back on those. They won't save much money, they're completely unnecessary. So if you look at the whole package, the university wanted to lay down all these proposals, which are really damaging, to save a small amount of money to be able to continue the level of spending on buildings, capital spending, which they didn't need to do. Maybe some of the cuts are warranted, but certainly not to the level that they proposed. Now, with having taken VS and the TPS employer contributions most likely coming down, there's absolutely no reason to go ahead with any more of the proposals. We're going to stand strong, we're going to stay on strike, we're going to talk about the offer tomorrow, and we're going to discuss that with members. Make sure you turn up, decide whether to accept or reject the offer. Whichever way it goes, we're still in dispute. If we accept the offer, we'll still be waiting for university executive to decide whether to go through with proposals later in the year, and we may have to take further strike action. But I'm sure that if it does come to that, you will be with us, we'll be standing strong, and we'll be able to defend anything else that management tried to push through with us. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ben, for that. Those that don't know me, my name's Nick White. I'm the Negotiating Secretary on behalf of UCU. I'd just like to say that I'm absolutely amazed at the turnout today. As Ben said, it's been absolutely fantastic. It shows the strength of support, and it gives a clear message to UEB that we won't stand for these cuts. Don't underestimate what their 73% turnout and huge majority for industrial action has shown us. The bosses in there are feeling the full force of our dissatisfaction over the decisions to attack our jobs, our pensions and our terms and conditions. We didn't create this mess, but we are sure as hell being asked to pay for it. And people are saying no more, we've had enough, and that's what's been shown today. I'm genuinely humbled by the scale of the action and the size of the rally today. I wasn't expecting this many people turning out when I I've spoken to colleagues from my area of health and social care who are striking for the first time and who are joining pickets for the first time, and I'm truly inspired by the stories that I'm hearing. I think these stories are repeated throughout the university, and this is outstanding, and it shows what happens when people feel pushed too far. So today should give every single one of us confidence in what solidarity, togetherness and trade unionism can do. We stand shoulder to shoulder, workers are more powerful than the bosses, that's for sure. We've wrestled back some of that power, and as Ben said, the bosses have now decided that they're coming to the table. Don't underestimate what that 73% turnout has done for that. When members act together, the bosses have to listen. It's that simple. We've shown the bosses exactly what solidarity looks like. The first thing that management do when they get a mandate is look at the percentage of people who have voted yes and the percentage of people that have actually voted. What they're asking is, have we got the stomach for the fight? And they've got the answer to that. We have got the stomach for the fight, and we've shown that. So it's no surprise that management have already come forward with an offer, as Ben said. It's not a perfect offer, but that tells us something important. They're having to listen to us. They are having to take notice. They know that Hallam UCU branch is determined, it's organised, and it's serious about defending jobs, terms and conditions and pensions. And we will discuss this offer, as Ben said, tomorrow. Please encourage people to come to the meeting and have their say. It's a democratic organisation. It's important that people turn up to these meetings and have their say. And we'll give people the pros and cons so they can make an informed decision about the way forward. So that's it from me, other to say continue solidarity, and yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, so we'll get on to our next speaker. So very pleased to welcome David. So he's the president of University of Sheffield UCU branch, and he's come down to speak to us today to express his support and also give us a little update about what's happening in University of Sheffield.
Thanks so much, Annalise. Thanks everybody for having me. Friends and comrades, good morning. It's a privilege to be with you today to bring a message of support and solidarity from the University of Sheffield UCU. Members in my branch are horrified at the news of what your management are planning, and we stand ready to support you however we can in fighting back against it. At the University of Sheffield, our staff face their own problems, and aggressive management who seek to double or even treble the cost of strike action to prevent our members from exercising their rights as workers. Wholly unnecessary threats of job cuts. A ceaseless campaign of restructures and reviews, and an ever-spiralling workload crisis. It is true that our challenges are less existential than yours at Hallam, but even so, your struggle is our struggle too. Our struggle is the same struggle, firstly, because we're all of us workers and trade unionists. It's a principle of trade unionism that we are all united, whether that's grounded in some highfalutin Marxist jargon or simply the understanding that no one will stand up for us unless we stand together as one. But more importantly, comrades, our struggles are the same in the sense that if our managers thought they could get away with it, they would absolutely do to us what your managers intend to do to you. We must be clear as a sector that union recognition, pension entitlement, and terms and conditions are not some gift for the bosses to give and take. We cannot allow the legal fiction to flourish in our sector that an employer is not your employer just because some wholly owned subsidiary sits between them and you and some bullshit organogram. And don't for one moment assume, friends and comrades, that that flow of bullshit is one directional. We can see from the example of the University of Nottingham that red brick universities are no more immune than post-92s from financial mismanagement, corruption and incompetence. At the Uni of, our management has been imposing an intimidatory campaign of punitive lockouts, double deductions, for refusing to mitigate our members' own strike activity. Over the past year, we've been out for 22 days on strike, and we've faced a further 20 days of pay deductions as a result of those lockouts. Let's call this practice what it is, friends. Strike breaking, union busting. And if our managers can get away with it, you can bet good money that the bosses of Hallam will be taking note. So our fight is the same fight, and we have to stand shoulder to shoulder to protect HE jobs in our city, as two branches but one united force. We have to demand better from a broken political system where no party in the last 30 years has been willing to grasp the nettle of how to properly fund our system. We have to demand organisational change to pull our managers away from financialised and commercialised understandings of what a university is and what it ought to be. But most importantly, we have to fight to save each other's jobs, our livelihoods and our working ways of life. I've said already that my branch has been on fighting this fight for a long time this year, and we're going to have to keep on fighting. We haven't won yet, but we're going to keep fighting that fight as hard as we can and for as long as we can. Because when you're fighting a threat like our institutions are facing, you have to be prepared for a battle of attrition. So I'm proud and excited, friends and comrades, to see so many of you here today, and I hope you'll stay out as long as it takes. I know it might seem dark, it might even seem hopeless, but hope is the one thing our struggle can't do without. We have to keep going, because the alternative is a miserable system of drudgery, division, and literal distress. We have to use every tool in our toolbox, whether that's legal, political, or industrial channels. But those tools only work when we stand together, when we come out on strike, when we hold the line on action short of strike, and when we band together and insist that things don't have to be the way the bosses tell us they are. Now is the time, friends and comrades, in the words of the old cliche, to be realistic and demand the impossible. Solidarity to every single member at Hallam fighting for their rights. So that will be continued. The union makes us strong. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, David. That was brilliant. Really inspiring. Thank you. We're going to hear now from our student campaigning group from SHAC. So Uni's going to come and speak to us now. And I think we're going to have a little round of chanting as well. So be prepared, all right? Okay, so yeah, thanks very much, Uni.
Thank you so much. So, as mentioned, I'm one of the students from Hallam Against Cuts, and the first thing I want to say is thank you so much. It means so much to see this many people here fighting for my education, fighting for a better work condition, a better university. But look, I've been a student for 2 years now. I really think we're at a crossroads with Hallam. I see two futures for it. The first one is when £27 million are cut from the budget, where over 235 staff members are made redundant. When the nursery is shut, when staff pensions are slashed, when student support services are reworked, when staff members are exhausted. You know, the first picket line I came to last semester, I spoke to a lecturer. We spoke of the course, the passion they felt when they started working at Hallam, the passion they felt for the course when they actually first went to the job. And then we started speaking of today. And honestly, my heart sank. We spoke about how they lost their passion for their career. About how this university, an institution that I'm paying £9,000 to be at, has made them exhausted and made them lose passion for something they used to love. And I do think that is the first future. Now the second future I see is a university which rewards workers for giving a shit about their working conditions and the learning conditions of students. A university which encourages passion and not dreading to go to work each morning. One which gives lecturers the resources they need to actually do their job. A university in which students feel like they want to engage with it, and students are adequately supported. Now, I don't know about all of you, but Future 2 sounds a bit better, so maybe I'm crazy. But, look, how do we get to that future? Well, honestly, I think we're already getting to that. And why do I say that? Well, it's because there are so many of us here. It is because we are all fighting for that future right now. And it's not an easy fight. But the reason it's not an easy fight is because the UEB are scared. Because you have the power, and that power makes people scared. Time and time again, it's workers, it is all of you who make strides forward. We've seen this so many times with mass strikes, with like workers who want rights during the minor strikes. We've seen countries in which workers have overthrown governments, and you know what, we see it today. First with the massive voter turnout that all of you managed to get, and now with the picket line growing each and every day. With each member that is on this picket line, with each member that strikes, we have a stride forward in our fight. And the louder we are, the more visible we are, the more strides we can make. So thank you so much from every single student for taking this fight for our education. Now I'm going to finish with some chanting if that's alright with everyone. When they say come back, we say fight back, come back! Come back! Come back! Come back! Fight back! Come back! Come back! Come back! Come back! Come back! When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do? workers' rights are under attack, what do we do?
Fight back!
When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Oh, what do we do? What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
I said, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Thank you so much, everyone.
Bravo, everybody. Well done. Okay, just a couple of last points to make before we end our rally today. One of them is, well, I've got a couple of housekeeping notes, but also a message of solidarity. So we may know that the University of Southampton Solent have also been faced with subsidiary company moves, and they have taken just short of a week of strike action over that recently. So we've had a message of solidarity from their president, so a guy called Steve Desmond. You might have seen that they've had a motion passed at Congress just these past few days about an investigation into that move to a subsidiary company at Southampton Solent. So I encourage you to have a little look at that news story. You can quickly Google that. But Steve Desmond, he's their president, and he sends us this message of solidarity for our strike here today. He says that at Southampton Solent University, we want to send you our strongest possible solidarity and respect. Your branch committee has done such a great job in organising or helping to organise all of us around the country who are affected by similar changes and management plans on our campus. We can't thank you all enough at Hallam. I very much look forward to visiting your picket line at some stage soon. So I think that's a really brilliant message from Steve Desmond, because I think other branches in the sector are looking to us as a fighting branch to see how we're managing our fight and what we're doing, our ballot turnout, the action that we're taking. The eyes are on us, and we are a fighting branch, and we've got a reputation as a fighting branch. So I think that really sends out a really good message to all of us as members that, you know, the sector are with us, other branches are with us, and they are kind of looking to us really to help lead this fight against these proposals, not just against job cuts, not just against redundancies, but also against that union busting move of the subsidiary company. So big thanks to Steve at Southampton Solent, but yeah, and also, you know, say big up to us, I guess, as a fighting branch. Okay, just to conclude then, I've got I've got a couple of housekeeping notes. One is we have got a branch meeting tomorrow. It is online. You've been sent an email with the links and all of that, so please do have a little look at that. It's at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So please come along. We want to discuss and vote on the offer that's been made. We've also got another date for the diary. Next Thursday is we've got a public meeting with other UCU branches in Sheffield and other trade unions in Sheffield about the future of higher education in the city, but also in the UK. And we've got local MPs, we've got Abdesam Mohammed and some other speakers from trade unions coming. So we're going to have a discussion about not only what's happening at Hallam, but what's happening in Sheffield, but also across the UK. So we really encourage you to come to that. It's free. It's going to be at Channing Hall on Chapel Walk. So we'll send around more details, but that's the 11th of June, so it's a Thursday evening. We'll send around more detail. And then last but not least, certainly not least, Saturday the 13th of June, there is a South Sheffield anti-fascist march against the far right in Sheffield. It's going to meet at St Mary's Church on Bramall Lane at 10:30, and there's going to be a march through the city. So another date for your diary. But yeah, support that and yeah, support the rise against the far right. Yeah, support those. So Sheffield anti-fascist group. Provide you with that. Okay, so we're going to finish there. Great to see you all. Really brilliant turnout, and we'll hope to see you tomorrow. We are going to pick it again, and then we're going to have our branch meeting and our discussion. So yeah, great to see you all, and yeah, solidarity everyone.